We are coming at you live from Johnny's Donut Studios, and you're watching the Mad Bomber podcast.
Mahomes, here's a first down pass play down the middle to go, and it's there. That's Deshaun Jackson tiptoeing for the touchdown.
Howard might get a few more touches today.
2nd and 5, Lofton the ball, and into the end zone is to the left. They'll go Jacobs, and he'll go in virtually untouched. He could have done something. Here's the handoff, and it's an easy one. Gonna keep it. Got an opening, and it's a makes perfect sense. Well, that old thing. Here's Pollard. Oh, look at Pollard. Turn it on. Carlson, he gets past him. Look at Pollard taking it for the touchdown.
Get up. You know it's going to be tight, man. You got to let it go.
Letting it go to Gallup. Catches it over the shoulder.
Drop back and throw.
Here's Prescott. End zone. Touchdown. 4 minutes to go. 29 yards out. And that
each fan on each side is like, no, it's not.
That's not fair. What game are you watching? 1st and 20. Wide open. It's Renfro. Cole on the hold, and that kick with another marker. Back from 14 down to 2013 against the Raiders. Here's Prescott's pass again.
Be aggressive.
From the 32, 2nd and 9. Down the field they go, and it is a touchdown to Dalton Schultz.
But they're not there.
Fakes, throws, it's Schultz again. Comes out firing. Lofts it, wide open. It's Deshaun Jackson. Carlson, kick. And it is good.
The Raiders, be aggressive. Now you can try and make this into a one-play game.
Oh, and some pass. Raiders went for the kick from 45 for the tie. Zerline delivers. Side. Carr was looking at him. Now he goes the other side. Down the field to Zay Jones. That's going to generate another flag. Oh, and a whistle first.
Before the snap, false start. Offense number 75.
The biggest kick of his career. Cowboys come busting across.
Unabated to the quarterback. Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 29.
Standing over it.
Just like, oh, sweat, Jim. Oh, no.
Again, the Cowboys. Jesus. Ball hits.
Before the snap.
And that'll be a first down.
To the kicker, number 29, defense. This 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
On the line with one kick. Here we go. This time for real. And it is delivered. Good. The Raiders win it.
So, what about that, fellas? Some of us will be at the Coliseum, my Coliseum. Some of us will be at Allegiant Stadium to watch the Raiders on Monday night. So we wanted to do a little bit of a last time they played kind of deal. Thanksgiving, I remember that game quite well. I had a friend of mine that actually went to that game. Will we see a shootout? We could see a shootout. It all depends on which Raiders defense is going to show up. The Oracle's in the laboratory right now getting his college football hat on, and he's going to be coming in. We have a new segment today. Let me bring the Oracle in so he can help explain this. He's been in the laboratory all week long, and since the Raiders have what's up, Oracle?
Oh, what's up, man? Live from the laboratory.
The life in the laboratory. So Oracle and I we're always trying to think of new things to do. We didn't get our stripper pole in, so that's not going to happen. The Raider Ed of the Week's not going to happen. And we are back to a PG show. Did you get to watch that show on Tuesday?
Oh, yes, I did. I mean, poor Kylina. I mean, Kylina's never going to be the same again after that.
Kyle's he knows he's a beast. He is what you call your Raider beast. But he came in. My granddaughter had a ceremony, so he came in as soon as he could, and then it was just us talking the whole time. I want to thank my nephew Nick. I want to thank my son Jesse. He's my favorite, and I love Kyle. and Matt came through. It was a very, very nice time. So, Oracle, you saw some of those plays we just seen with the Cowboys and the Raiders. What have you seen this year from Dallas as a team, a team as a whole? I feel like Dallas, I don't want to, you have always a good take on stuff, but looking at the Raiders and Dallas, there's a lot of similarities in some of their play. But what do you see? What do you see going on Monday night?
Well, overall with Dallas, they've been very good on offense, probably one of the best offenses in the league. George Pickens has come to Dallas, and we've probably seen the best George Pickens that we've seen. We've always known that he was a good player in Pittsburgh, but never quite had the quarterback play. And say what you want about Dak, but Dak's having one of his better seasons. You know, Dak in his career will have some really good seasons, some really not good seasons. Like last year, he'll get hurt a lot, but even though we're going off recency bias, where in the Cardinal game he didn't look that good, this year overall has been really good for him. Even with CeeDee Lamb being out of the lineup and him coming back in the lineup, having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together, that's probably, you can make an argument that that's the best receiver tandem in all of football. Maybe the LA Rams could make an argument for having the best. But the other thing with Dallas is Javonte Williams has come into this team. And a lot of people, when they signed him, they probably just looked at it and like, oh, they got Javonte Williams. But he's been one of the better backs in the league. And
we see him twice a year as when he played for Denver. And when he's not hurt, that guy's a beast. He is tough running back.
Definitely is. And Jake Ferguson's had some moments. They got this Ryan Flanoy, I believe is how you say his name. He's come along as a third receiver, has kind of replaced Kevontae Turpin when Turpin was hurt. But now Turpin's back, and they have, not only do they have Turpin on offense, but they have him in the return game too. So that's something this new special teams coordinator that the Raiders got has really got to make sure that they get Turpin under wraps and make sure he doesn't break off a big play. But on the other side of the ball, unfortunately, Dallas has really struggled this year on defense, whether it was last week's or 2 weeks ago when they played the Cardinals. Deron Bland got absolutely torched by Marvin Harrison Jr. They really don't have good players in the secondary. A lot of their safeties have been banged up. Malik Hooker's been banged up. Donovan Wilson's been banged up. He might come back this week. Trayvon Diggs has been out of the lineup. So it's really kind of been a shuffle at cornerback. And as far as the front goes, they got this Donovan Ezeraku guy who's a rookie from Boston College who's come in, and he looks like a pretty good player for them. He looks like a nice find in the second round. Besides that, they got Kenny Clark, who came over in the Micah Parsons deal, who's been a decent player. He's a little bit of an older player now, but he still gives them something in the run game. And then, of course, the big ticket thing for them on the trade deadline was getting Quinnen Williams. And Quinnen Williams is one of the best defensive tackles in all of football. Let's see how many snaps he plays this week. I mean, it's not like he's coming off an injury. I think he's going to come in and play a ton of snaps.
Oh, absolutely.
Does he line up against Caleb Rogers and really put Caleb Rogers to test? Let's see how that goes. And then on the other side, they got Osa Odigizua, who's been a solid player for them on the interior as well. And then they throw in Jadeveon Clowney, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler a little bit. So they got some depth on this defensive line, but for some reason, they're just not able to get it done. And then last but not least, the linebackers, they got Demarion Overshown, who's been a pretty good player for them, but he has a hard time staying healthy. And then they got Logan Wilson over from Cincinnati, and he's had good moments in his career. He's kind of fallen off a little bit as of late. Who knows if maybe he needs a little bit of change of scheme, and that's going to revitalize him a little bit. So I definitely think the Raiders have their hands full this week against Dallas.
Back to the linebackers. Kenneth Murray was somebody I was very intrigued with when he came out. You know, he seemed to be like you would be a sideline to sideline linebacker.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything good out of him at all in any of the tape I watched. He seemed slow. If again, I don't know, and we're going to go ahead and skip back and forth to these two topics, but with Denver game and having a rookie on Brock Bowers most of the game, we didn't get Brock Bowers the ball at all. And they keep trying to tell us that they were looking for him. And it's like, I'm sorry, I looked at the tape, and I don't think they were looking for him. He was looking for Lockett. I mean, Lockett got a lot of plays, and they tried to play that off. The Raiders offensive coordinator tried to play, well, he was open because they were doubling down on Brock. Okay, I didn't see that, and it's like I don't feel like I'm getting Jedi. I feel like I'm getting Jedi Knighted from the Raiders offensive side. Pete Carroll this week did say that he was not happy with two out of the last 3 weeks on offense. I don't know if he was calling out Chip Kelly, and we will figure that out more and more as it goes in. And hey, how you doing, Tony Valdivia? That's our guy right there. That is.
Hey Tony, how you doing?
Sorry at you, Tony. I hope he's going to be there Monday night. He's got one of the greatest. His tailgate is amazing. His truck's amazing.
He's a trumpet guy, right?
Yep.
Oh,
he brought his granddaughter last time, and they did a great job. But so you know what? What I don't see is we haven't been blown out at home. I think the biggest blowout we had at home was probably the Charger game. And it was like, it still was earlier in the year, and Geno had the 3 picks, and it was a sloppy game. But you know what? I want to show you a couple of plays that I was impressed with, and then I want you to elaborate on it. First and foremost, let's go to this play. All right. And then on this one right here, technique is what I've been hearing about. Compete. Technique. Compete. If you look at the play, if you look right there, it looks like the Raiders are the Raiders this week played Lonnie Johnson and Jeremy Chin at the line a lot, showing a little bit more man than that I've seen in weeks. What do you think of this lineup right here, Oracle? It looks like they're gonna come in a blitz.
Yeah, I mean it's a 4 down front, and they got Chin kind of on the tight end over here. But look, Tonka Hemingway is, I think, a guy they're going to try to get on the field a little bit more.
I hope so.
Him and Charles Snowden, I think, are starting to come along a little bit, which I think is really good for this defense. That they're starting to get some of the younger players more snaps. Because look, Adam Butler's an older player. How many snaps? I mean, he's their best defensive tackle, but at the same time, he's going to have to come off the field a little bit. So whether it's Tonka Hemingway and Thomas Booker, and Laulu has become not a rotational player. He's a starter now. So yep. Tonka Hemingway is going to have to come in a couple plays, and he's going to need to perform a little bit. So they line him up against the worst offensive lineman on the Denver's got one of the best offensive lines in all football. The one weak link is their left guard, and Hemingway's going to line up across them, and he's just going to get his hands on him and push him back a little bit.
Let's watch that. Let's watch that, and then we're going to reverse because there's somebody else we want to watch. Okay, so let's see that. Great. Look at that. Look at that drive under. It's just boom. He gets in the face, and then you get Max cleaning it up.
Yep.
Great play. Now let's watch it again, shall we? And let's go ahead and let me cue it up for you, folks. Let's go ahead and watch number 51. You see the black box. Go to the right, just about one player. You see Jamal Adams pointing. He's actually pointing at him, telling him to move your butt. So check this out. Watch 51. Yeah. We already watched Tonka. Watch 51. And that's a tight end.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That he just blew him all the way across the field. Okay. That is something that's been a problem for the Raiders all year. They spent $15 million on getting Malcolm Coots back from 8 games 2 years ago of really good football. Who they didn't re-sign was Levon Chason, who actually was the defensive player of the month for the Patriots and leads the team in sacks with 6.5. So although we do see one guy doing his job right there, we don't see another doing his job. And that was definitely a blitz. You see Palomao coming in and making that play. So the Raiders so far, if you're going to do grades, because it's tough as a Raider fan out there, guys, I know you're the same as I am. You're watching other teams with the other players. You're watching Robert Spillane. You're watching Chase on. Anytime somebody's going to come to play. I mean, Keyshawn Nixon for Green Bay, we let that guy go. And again, do you remember any others, Oracle, that they left? There was a linebacker, another linebacker I just read about, and I never remembered him. That's how bad it was, that played on the Raiders, and he is talking about playing. They're talking about him being an All-Pro. So it's kind of it's. We're going to get into the little pre-draft stuff today. This is going to be our first week where we're going to be starting to highlight players for you guys, because if you're watching this Friday show, that means you're pretty in you're more or less in liking the film study. The Tuesday roundtables, more of the fun stuff. This is where we break down tape and talk player specific. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go to the next tape. And as I love this tape, and Oracle knows which one it is. We talked about this guy a couple of weeks ago. He's a rookie playing for the Raiders, and he's doing a really, really good job. Go ahead and talk about what we got going on right here, Oracle.
Yeah, so we're going to have cover one. So we have Darian Porter down at the bottom of the screen. He's going to be matched up on, I believe that's Cortland Sutton down there. I mean, Cortland Sutton's one of the better receivers in all of football, probably top 20, to say the least. And Darian Porter is going to be lined up on him in straight man coverage. He's going to have a little bit of help over the top with Paul Lamau. But look, Darian Porter's come on, and we haven't really had the games with Darian Porter like we've had with Caillou Blue Kelly, where we're like, oh my God, play after play, Porter's getting beat. That hasn't been the case. Hasn't gotten the playing time that a lot of time.
Look at that technique. Got it.
Yeah, he just stays right on him the whole time, and it's a hitch route or kind of a deep curl that Sutton's going to run right here. And you could tell the confidence that Darian Porter has in himself. A lot of times when corners are not confident, they kind of backpedal way too far because they're scared about getting beat deep. But he's able to stay right on top of him, and he's able to force Bo Nix to go elsewhere.
And, a lot of people were saying, and Bobby, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if the Raiders played good or Denver played bad. I'm going to say that after watching the defense, we're going to break down a couple more defensive plays. I'm going to say it's a little bit more of both. But let's go ahead and talk about Stokes on the other side, which is really impressive as well.
Yeah, so he's going to be in man two at the top of the screen. He's going to be on Troy Franklin, and he's going to stay with him and get a little press. He's going to kind of lose him for a little bit, but Bo Nix doesn't see it. And look, Stokes he's been really consistent for the Raiders this year. He's been able to be on the field for a lot of snaps, and he hasn't had the game like Caillou Blue Kelly either, where we're like, oh my God, he's getting beat play after play after play. He's probably the second best player on this defense right now after Max Crosby. And he's just been a former first-round pick out of Georgia. Didn't quite work out in Green Bay, but he looks like he's found a home here with the Raiders, whether it's in man, whether it's in zone. He's been a really good player, and I think it's something that they're really excited about going forward. I don't really know, because here's the thing with the Raiders. I don't know 100% how aligned they are in terms of player personnel, whether it's Pete Carroll wants this guy, but maybe John Spytek wants this guy. Are they able to have that conversation? What are those conversations like? So you might have a case of, oh, well, Pete wants to sign this guy, so we'll sign this guy to make Pete happy. We'll sign this guy to make John Spytek happy. And then Pete has to kind of manage a roster with some of his guys, some of John Spytek's guys. So if that's the case, that's never really good because you don't really have organizational alignment. So I'm really curious to kind of see what was the thought process into bringing in Eric Stokes.
Well, I know the Pete Carroll way is long guys. He wants to play that long cover three and have big bodies that can tackle. He said that, and that's one of the reasons why they got rid of Ja'Cory Bennett and got in and brought in Thomas Booker, because Ja'Cory Bennett was never available. And the thing is, Ja'Cory Bennett was a great cover cornerback.
Yeah.
He just was never available. And so they brought Thomas Booker in, And then as soon as Jacorian Bennett goes to the Eagles, and he's smaller, so he wasn't a peak guy. So he was one of those guys where he was expendable. So that's where I think he's at. And look at Flecto came in. The only thing more joyous than a Cowboy loss is a Niners win. Can we count on Danny Pearson to root for the Raiders on Monday night? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And
I think so. I mean, hey, I'm glad to have him along. Hopefully for him, being the great receiver that he was, we're able to see some good plays either out of Bowers or Tucker or maybe Jack Besh gets involved a little bit. So I think Danny's going to come in and we're going to make some good catches in his honor.
Here we go. All right.
Oh,
boom.
no.
Ow.
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
ooh. Daddy. I hate it. And let's go ahead and watch that frame by frame. And who were we just talking about that we got smoked on defense? What was his name?
His name is Malcolm Kuntz.
So right there in the black square, young men and ladies. I know Carmen's probably watching from the black hole. Love her. She was on the show, did a great job. So fellas and everyone else, Malcolm Kuntz is right there. He's going to be one of the blockers. And I don't know what happened, if he was yawning or something, but let's see.
And Johnny, hold on. Before you hit play. So
Yeah.
There's two personal protectors that are behind Kuntz right here.
Right.
And there's three guys that are to the left side of the ball. So this should be pretty easy to identify. So the two guys that are on the most outside of Denver, the personal protectors are going to block those two guys. And then Kuntz is going to be the guy that blocks the guy right in front of him. So I don't understand why Kuntz would get beat so bad on this play. But go ahead, roll the tape.
So there you go. Boom.
He goes outside.
Yep. Boom.
Yeah. And look, I think it's a little bit on Kuntz.
Oh, no, it's totally on Kuntz. Totally on Kuntz.
Yeah, but I think it's also a little bit on the community. And this is, I think, part of the reason why the special teams coordinator got fired, because that should be very easy to pick up. You have only three guys that are out there. It should be pretty easy to identify who's got what guy. It'd be one thing if you're trying to pick up on the right side where there's 8 people, or no, it would be 7 people.
7. Yeah.
So. Yeah, if anything, that probably drove Pete Carroll or John Spytek, Tom Brady, it probably drove all of them crazy, saying, how could the side of the line that only has 3 people, how are we not able to pick that up?
With 5 guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And again, they got rid of him. And we talked about this last week. I'm not a guy that likes to get rid of players or get rid of coaches in the middle of the season. You can basically, for the guy's sake, for his sake, there's always a possibility that they don't have the players, okay? But these guys are all pros. What I don't like, what I think got Tom McMahon fired is that him and Carroll were on the sidelines barking at each other. So basically, he had to get rid of him. And David Freitas, too many coaching changes lead to getting rid of players that aren't my guy or don't fit the new system. They get developed on a different team.
That's a great point.
Beautiful point. That is exactly right. So 2 years ago on Monday Night Football, it was 2-7. We lose the game. Bye-bye McDaniels. Last year, we're 2-7, and we have Antonio Pierce at the end of the year. We get another coach. So we're at 2-7 again, and we have Pete Carroll. And there's a lot of people, the TMZ, especially the TMZ podcasters, they already got everybody lynched out of here, okay? But the bottom line is like, I think David said this perfectly. When and I always go back to this analogy with our showboat Aaron Rodgers, the freak of the week. Okay, he went ahead and went to the Jets and said, you're doing this, and you're doing this, got a coach fired, probably got the other guy, Albrecht, out the door either as well. And Ulbricht's doing well out of there. But when you have a system that's in place like the Ravens and the Steelers, okay, if you remember the Aaron Rodgers deal, they didn't buy into Aaron Rodgers quick. The Steelers didn't. And I always think that something like this, we're thinking about you. We're thinking about getting you, but we don't know. And it's not like we want you. Oh my God, when can you get here? We got a private plane. We got the Jets band out front of you. It wasn't like that, because you know what? You know whose team the Steelers is. Steelers is. Anyway, I can pretty much tell you that I haven't heard Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee. I haven't heard Aaron Rodgers on any of the shows. And I do notice that when he's coming off the field, he's not ripping people all the time. He's pissed, but he's not ripping people all the time. So David Freitas, going back to your point, you give this guy 3 years, align his coaching staff. He is the man. This is the guy. He's the one who's in charge. We're not going to talk about if Pete Kelly or Chip Kelly's going to be around. There's a lot of rumors about him. There's been rumors about Kyler Murray coming here. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that, but
I have.
That has been kind of in the back of my mind of like a what if thing. That wouldn't surprise me. Look, we'll see. The thing with Kyler, the thing with him is I've never been the one to think, wow, this guy really gets his teammates to buy into him. That's always been kind of an issue with me and him. A little bit like a Jay Cutler.
Perfect analogy. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a little aloof. People, they have cordial conversations when they're face to face, but maybe behind their back, they're like, man, I don't really love that guy. And that's always, I think at the quarterback position in particular, that's something that people don't talk enough about, especially when it comes to the draft. Because you could talk about, all these draft nicks talk about is their arm talent, their highlight tape, how they do at the combine. There's not enough talk about how they are as a person in the locker room. And I think a lot of times when quarterbacks don't work out in organizations, we start hearing stories about how they weren't. Take Jamarcus Russell's a perfect example. Pre-draft, this guy's going to be amazing. After he leaves the Raiders, you hear nothing but stories about how poor his work ethic was.
Yeah, we heard the blank tape story many, many times. So it's going to be a mixed bag on what we're going to get on Monday night. Dak Prescott's playing very, very good football right now. And he has weapons, and they're going to need all those weapons. Now, earlier in the week, Caleb Rogers came out and said that, kind of made a comment that he was starting. There wasn't a really good video excerpt. I wanted to get one. I couldn't find one, but he said, yeah. And then Carroll's pretty much said, they're competing. So that means Alex Kappa could be playing this week. So guys, if that's the case, we may have a problem making Quinton Williams look like the smartest move that Dallas did this week. I really do believe that Brock Bowers should go off. This is a game where I think Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers should win this game for the Raiders. I do believe it's going to be tight. I don't believe it's going to be a blowout by either team. I just believe that if it starts to get one team gets in front of the other, it'll go to a schoolyard style football a little bit more, and I think that would be okay. What did you think about Geno playing hurt in Denver the other day? What did you think about that?
I was surprised by it because I thought it would have been a great opportunity for Kenny Pickett to come in and see what we have in him, and especially with Geno being hurt. But this tells me that Pete Carroll made a decision. He made the decision that a hobbled Geno is better than a fully healthy Kenny Pickett. And to me, that tells me what Pete Carroll really thinks about Geno Smith compared to how he thinks about Kenny Pickett. And you could say, well, Pete Carroll is or Geno is Pete Carroll's guy, yeah, you can make that decision. But look, Kenny Pickett's been in practice. Pete Carroll's able to make an assessment of Kenny Pickett based on his practices. And if he felt comfortable about Kenny Pickett, I think he would have been like, oh, here's the opportunity. Let's see if he could go win this game. But that wasn't the case. He came in with Geno. And look, did Geno show a great deal of toughness in roughing through it? Absolutely. Do I think Geno's a guy that has his teammates behind him? Look, I'm not in the locker room, but I think he does. I've always liked Geno. I think he's a great story of resilience. He came in, flamed out with the Jets, was a backup for many years, and he's a guy that I think has been humbled, and he got his opportunity, and he was able to make something of it. He was able to start a couple years in Seattle, get another starting job with the Raiders when they brought him in. So I think it was a good opportunity for him to continue to go out there and fight. Unfortunately, losing JPJ, I thought really hurt the offense a lot. It's going to continue to hurt the offense going forward, especially not having Colton Miller in there as well. It looks like Dylan Parham will play, from what I'm seeing, which is cool. I was a little nervous that he wasn't going to play, but I'm glad he's going to play.
Me too.
Kind of crazy that we're saying that, but considering where the line is right now, I mean, we really need Dylan Parham and DJ's glaze as much as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
it's like 2:00 in the morning right now, and you're at a bar, and like all you got left is the ugly girls, and that's kind of where we're at. We're like, and it's funny because for the whole year we've been hearing that JPJ is an ugly girl from Pete Carroll, basically. I don't know why he didn't put his seal of approval on JPJ, but he didn't. So that's the way it goes. As far as the last words for the Raiders and Cowboys, because we're going to do our draft preview. And look at Kyler. Look at Husk. Kyler with a bad will on a poor offensive line would be scary. Well, Husk, it's so funny that you said that, because we are going to go into let's see, what could we call this? Who should you watch on Saturdays?
Yeah, there we go.
Who should you watch on Saturday? So Oracle, he is just so happy. Look at his face.
Oh my God,
I'm going to give him his favorite one too. Okay, so Raider score, I'm going to think the Raiders are going to win 21-18. I think that there's going to be a lot of running for the Raiders. I think Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers are going to control the clock a little bit more. I'm worried about the emotional bump for Dallas. Last time there was an emotional edge on the team for Monday night against the Raiders. He's talking about when Brett Favre came in and lit it up. Look at Flecto. Flecto says, great point, David Freitas. That's a point right there. If the Flecto says it. But I know. I agree. I mean, it kind of worries me because the Raiders do play into that. It seems like we're always anyway. So that's going to be my score, Oracle. Before we talk about the Raiders, what do you think? What's your score?
I'm going to go 34-31 Raiders. I think they're going to win. I think Daniel Carlson's going to kick a game-winning field goal. And we're going to be having some different conversations about Daniel Carlson. We might start pulling the, hey, remember when? The other thing about that Thanksgiving game is Hunter Renfrow had a really good game that day. He had 8 catches for 134. Oh, talk about remember when.
Let's see. Let me see if I can cue up. No, it's
how about Deshaun? I forgot Deshaun Jackson even played for the Raiders.
I think that was his only touchdown too. There's Deshaun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because Renfrow didn't have a touchdown that day, but he had 8 catches for 134.
Yeah, there was a. Here you go. Here it is.
First and 20.
For the Renfrow.
Wide open.
Yeah.
It's Renfrow. Cole on the hold, and
that was when we could kind of count on Carlson right there.
Yeah.
And look at Tony V. He's thinking the same thing. There, the Mariachi Raider. He's with us. And he's saying, woohoo, I like it. I'm thinking the same score.
Yeah, definitely.
One
Hey,
of
he's
us,
going to play
one
the
of us,
trumpets right after
as
the
long
game.
as one is, yeah, pull the trumpets out. We'll
Yeah,
do it.
definitely.
Okay, without further ado, we are going to be who you should watch on Saturday. And this Saturday, who's Ohio State playing this Saturday?
That's a good question. You know, I don't
Let's
think they're
find out.
playing anyone.
Let's find
I don't
out
think
real
they're
quick.
playing anyone big. Ohio State
We got time.
is playing. Oh, they're playing UCLA tomorrow.
Oh,
in
that's
Columbus.
that. Ooh. Yeah, I think
Well,
it's a 30. It is because I remember that. It's a 30.5-point favor. Okay,
yeah.
here we go. Okay.
Yeah, that's our man Arvell Reese. This Arvell Reese might be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. That's the kind of hype that he's getting right now. A lot of people are comparing him to Micah Parsons, and he's kind of that off-ball linebacker where he could also play on the edge. And he's a guy, he's got Matt Patricia as his defensive coordinator right now at Ohio State. Matt Patricia comes from Bill Belichick, so he lines these linebackers up in a lot of different spaces. Maybe he's rushing, maybe he's dropping. You don't really know. But when he comes and rushes, he's for an off-ball linebacker, he's pretty big. He's like he's in the 240s, maybe close to 250, depending on what he eats on the night before. But look, this guy, he packs some power with him, and he's got a lot of speed, and he's got good instincts. So this might be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, especially if Tennessee has the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know what the draft order is going to be. So maybe he could be a Raider.
So folks at home right now, all the guys that we follow have definitely been saying this is the best linebacker class that they've had in many, many, many years. And I'm going to say, going back to the Shane Conklin days, back the Buffalo guys, back in the 90s, they were talking about this being the best defense, not just linebacker, but this could be the best defense. Right now, they're not happy. The consensus with even the Todd McShays, and then going all the way to our new guys that we're following, and what we've seen. And again, I've seen a lot of Ohio State play. And since we're talking about Ohio State and UCLA, the Oracle loves this gentleman right here.
Maybe the best football player in the draft. And I know I just said Arvell Reese might go number 1, but look, here's the thing with safeties. A lot of people say you can't take a safety really high. A safety is not a premium position, kind of like running back. You know, how could you take Ashton Janty at number 6 overall? He's a running back. That's not a premium position. But look, when you want to get a really good football player, does it really matter what position they play? If let's take the Ravens, for example, and Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton's a guy who was drafted 14th, I believe 3 years ago or 4 years ago now.
Yeah, he was 14.
And the Eagles, I remember, had a pick right in front of them. They took Jordan Davis. Now, Jordan Davis is a nose tackle who doesn't even play 50% of the snaps. And they passed on Kyle Hamilton over that because Jordan Davis is a defensive lineman and he plays a premium position. So look, you could make the argument that, oh, you can't take a safety that high. But here's the thing with safeties. Safeties play almost 100% of the snaps. They don't come off the field. And remember, we have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in our division.
That's exactly what I was.
You want impact players on the defense. You want guys that Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert say, "Oh crap, I got to play that guy. I got to account for him wherever he is on the field, and I got to make sure that I know I have a good idea whether he's in man, whether he's in zone. Because if I don't pay attention to him, he can make an impact play on the ball, or in the running game, he could really come up and hit our running back and just be a really good overall football player." So look, I'm not too worried about him being a safety.
I'm not either. And you know, you just made a great point. You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Justin Herbert, and you have Bo Nix. This is you have to get better at defense. And just like look at what Baltimore did. They got Malachi Starks last year. I think they got him in the 20, but he was a little higher. But Malachi Starks has played almost every play. Him and Teddy Buchanan the guy
Yeah.
wanted Cal. I love Teddy Buchanan, and I was jonesing for Teddy Buchanan. He was one of the better linebackers coming out of Cal. He was a Cal guy, and I got to see him play a lot. So I was another guy that I was really, really pumped about. And lastly, for Oracle side, I got 3 too, but he got the defensive side. And talk about this guy.
Yeah, so this is Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. This guy is 6'6", 285 pounds. And if you look at this guy, he doesn't look like a guy that's 6'6", 285. He doesn't look like a guy who weighs 285. That means he carries his weight really well. And that means that he has good diet discipline. He's good in the weight room. And he's just a guy who's just rocked up. And look, the thing with Keldrick Falk is he's not a high number sack guy. I think he only has like 2 sacks in the season. That's going to really concern some people. He's more of a power rusher. That means he likes to get inside the offensive lineman's pads and really drive them back and then make a move, whether it's a swim move, whether it's a club move, whether it's just the straight up bull rush. And he's a little bit of a work in progress. He's got a little bit of work to do, but the upside on him is great. Maybe if he gets paired with a Max Crosby could show him a thing or two, and he could become a really better player. But I really like this guy a lot. The other thing with Auburn is it's not exactly a scheme where they just let their defensive ends fly upfield like they do with Max Crosby. He kind of has to be in gap assignment a little bit more, so he has to hold the gap. He doesn't really have free reign to just kind of go after the quarterback. So, and the other thing, when you're on a team like Auburn that's not winning a lot and you're not ahead in games, that means you're not just pinning your ears back and rushing the quarterback. Some of these guys like Ronald Bain on Miami, well, Miami's been ahead in a lot of games, so he's just pinning his ears back and going after the quarterback, and he's getting more sacks. When you're at Auburn, you're not going to have that opportunity because you have to play run and pass when a team is ahead. Right. So I really like this guy a lot.
And again, he plays in the SEC, and he's the games he's had where he has had sacks and TFLs have been against Alabama. He's had his best games against Alabama. So this guy is a high motor guy. I want more linebackers and safeties because I'm not a Palomau guy at all. Palomau. And I want linebackers. I don't believe that we need to go to get defensive linemen. I think we have enough. I mean, I'm not saying you can't that we're set, but there's so many big holes in this defense, and linebackers one of them. I mean, you may bring Devin White back. I'll tell you what, Devin White scares the hell out of me because he's a 15-yard penalty waiting to happen all the time, and it drives me nuts. So I would like to go ahead and let's talk about somebody else. What do you think about this guy? These are my picks. Now Oracle can talk about my picks.
Yeah, this is Spencer Fano, probably the highest rated offensive lineman right now in college football. He's a right tackle. And he's a really good run blocker. Whenever Utah needs a big run play, they go behind him. Here he is in pass protection right now, holding his guy. The one concern I have against any guy who's not in the SEC is how good of competition they play. Even the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State's really good. Or Indiana's good. Oregon's pretty good. But there's a lot of tomato cans there's a lot of Rutgers in the Big Ten.
Yep. I agree.
But in the Big 12, how good is the Big 12? I mean, we know Texas Tech has looked pretty good this year. Texas Tech beat Utah this year. BYU just got beat by Texas Tech. So how good of the edge rushers is Spencer Fano playing against? That's the one thing we're going to need to find out. It doesn't look like Utah is going to be in the college football playoff. So we might just have to wait until the combine, and we might have to – the other thing we got to hear from after the combine when a lot of these media members talk to scouts is they're able to kind of get some information on the character of the player. And with offensive linemen, character really matters a lot because how many times do we come on here and we talk about blown assignments on the offensive line? And that's a lot of that is intelligence. That's mental processing, thinking quickly. So if we get a good sense that he's able to be a good mental processor and think quickly, then that definitely would be someone that the Raiders should be interested in and continue to build that line, get Colton Miller and JPJ healthy. And if he could play guard, if he could play tackle, either move DJ Glaze to guard, then hopefully Ashton Janty could start being the player that we thought he would.
You got to build the line. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that. I would love to have Arvell Reese first, but they need to get offensive linemen, and I do believe that they're going to try something in free agency, just because I've heard that there's some people on their radar. The thing about Spencer Fano is he started out as a left tackle his first year in college. He had I think he had 12 games that he started at left tackle, but they moved him to right tackle, and he's played 21 games. And in 21 games he's allowed 2 sacks. And at 6'6", 302, who did the Chargers just get?
Are you talking about Joe Alt? Yeah.
Big guy, big guy. And if you're looking at this guy, he just is a big man. So he is one of the guys that I really like. And again, that does scare me that he's not playing in the SEC. But guess who else played in the SEC? Alex Leatherwood.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gruden.
Yeah. Okay. Here's player number 2.
Mowaga.
Yep,
Yeah.
Francis Mowaga from Miami. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy right here. Let's go.
He's the guy pulling on the move right there.
He's number 61.
Yeah.
And who does this remind you of right here? Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys. I mean,
JPJ.
JPJ. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
JPJ. Now, what I've heard from the guys who are looking at him right now, coming out, is that they think he'll be better at guard. They want to put him more at guard. He's a little slow on the outside, and then his hands are a little crazy. So that's what they are talking about, and that's kind of what oops. And that's the other one. Now the last one I don't have any tape on because I had to get something else on. So we'll just look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Who's that safety right there? That's Van McElroy.
Oh wow.
Oracle. Here's a good one. What do you think of Cade Olave?
That's a good question, Dave. I don't even know who Cade Olave. Man, he stumped me.
That's the stumper.
Wow. Good
so we're
job,
not going to
Dave.
talk about it because we don't know, but that could be for next Saturday's show. For the next Saturday's show.
Yeah.
I could tell you
Looks
right
like he's
now.
a linebacker from Cal. I have barely watched any Cal football.
So I wasn't going to say nothing. So he's actually saved a few Cal games. He actually had a pick in the end zone. It was early in the season too, I believe. David helped me out on that one. I think it was on the road. It was a good team.
They played Virginia, right? Didn't they beat Virginia?
But this was earlier in the year, and it was not Virginia. But Dave Freitas, we're going to go ahead and for our viewers, we are going to go ahead and do a Cade Olave. Next week we'll do a scouting report on him. And
don't worry, Dave, I got you.
Yeah, but we want to make sure we take an in-depth look. Punch the ball out at the 2-yard line. Also did he also got an interception earlier in the year. But yes, he did punch the ball out at the 2-yard line. But so we will get back with you, Mr. Freitas. Eat a Lunglisa sandwich for me, big dog. And then the last guy that I want to talk about is Emmanuel Pregnon. He's in a good place for Oregon. And that guy is a beast. I mean, I just watched his workout video and I didn't think it was relevant for the show. So I didn't want to put it on there, but this is a guy who's dedicated, 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Really, really, really. He has been on. He hasn't hit the Todd McShays for instance, but he's getting run on a lot of other draft shows. Now, I got the pleasure to watch them last week, and their offensive line is dirty in Oregon. That's a great line. They have a tight end that they call Tesla because he's so smooth and quick, and he blocks. He's a big boy. But I can tell you right now that Emmanuel Pignon, 6'5", 310, is a big boy. Look at this. Husk, 6'8", 285 with the motor. Fills holes, John. Imagine LeBron with 35 more pounds of muscle. The SEC players are a different breed.
Yeah, they really are.
So we're going to go ahead and finish with that. Guys, David Freitas basically told you this. This is what Dave Freitas said. This is what you have to do. This is solely the way you have to look at it, unless you want to be a perennial 2-7 team, or you get a couple of lucky wins in your 5-win team, but you're not getting players that are going to take you to the next level. And once you do get players that take you to the next level, they have to be playoff ready and playoff whipped, just like what Houston's going through right now with their team. They're getting in the playoffs. They're learning how to play in the playoffs. Remember they had against Kansas City? They had two bad roughing the passer calls, which were both BS. But at the end of the day, that's really heightened in the playoffs, and that's when you really have to be zoned in. Right now, you're just playing Dallas. Okay, just imagine getting into a playoff game, and the resistance and the your mental capacity has to really be on top of it. I mean, there's no other way. That's how good players play. So we're going to end with patience. The Oracle and I will be doing a show on. Should we do it on Monday after the game? Because that's going to be we'll do a late after the game show. I don't know where I'm staying. I forget where I'm staying. Anyway, whatever I am, we'll figure it out. But guys, we will see you on Monday night, right after the game. I will let you know as I'm leaving the stadium about approximately what time we're gonna go on it. But I believe this is going to be a fun game to watch. Is there any games that you're intrigued with this weekend, Oracle?
Well, I mean, look, in college, if we're going to look at some guys to watch on Saturday, two big games tomorrow. We got Oklahoma playing Alabama. Look, there's a lot of people that in Raiderland that are thinking maybe we draft a quarterback. So, look, I think before we really go there in the first round, we want to make sure that we watch all of the games these quarterbacks play and then make an assessment of it. Be like, hey, is this a quarterback really worth drafting? It's very easy to say now, but we got to watch Ty Simpson and how he plays against Oklahoma. Does he continue playing the way that he plays? Does Fernando Mendoza keep playing really good football? Or because let's be honest about Mendoza, the Penn State game he played last week, for the first three quarters, he didn't really look really good. He turned it on in the fourth quarter. So let's see how Ty Simpson plays tomorrow and keep your eye on that.
Well, Ty Simpson played like crap last week. He looked horrible.
Yeah, he wasn't one of his better games. Found a way to win, though. Let's see how he does tomorrow. And then Texas plays Georgia next week. And then as far as the other games go, I mean, I'm really excited about Philly playing Detroit. I think that's going to be a really good game. That's the game I'm really looking forward to on Sunday Night Football.
That's going to be a blast. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, all right, boomers, mostly boomers and bombers. We will see you on Monday night. And again, thanks to everybody that came in. We will talk later about what's going to go on for the rest of the year because we're going to ramp up some stuff here on the Bomber Podcast. Alex, the Oracle, you're the best.
Hey, Johnny, how much are the hot dogs at Raider games?
I think they're $2.99.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. I almost forgot. All right.
And I will be at the top of 246. If you got to burr up your butt and you're in the game, come and see me and say hello. And then I'll buy you a $2.99 hot dog, $2.99 hot dog.
Uh-oh.
I'm bringing.
He brought his Amex.
I'm bringing. I'm bringing Mama's Amex, not my Amex.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. If you go to a Raider game, you might find cash on the floor too.
As we heard. All right, guys. You guys have a great night. We will talk to you on Monday night. Good night now.
Good night now.
Now it's Ciani to the left. Biletnikoff to the right against Marsalis. Back is LaMonica. Throws for Biletnikoff. Touchdown Raiders! Biletnikoff is having words right now with Marsalis. Fred caught that ball after quite a physical battle with Marsalis in the right corner of the end zone. He went on out of the end zone, and then instead of slamming the ball into the turf, he ran back in about 10 yards to where Marsalis was and defiantly slammed it in the turf in front of Marsalis. The two tight ends are lined up as tight ends. Back goes Darrell to pass. He's looking for Smith, but instead goes down the middle. Chester, touchdown Raiders! Holy Toledo, what a great ball! 19 yards and a Raider touchdown to make it 22-3. Chester had gotten free at the 5 and was all alone in the end zone 2 yards in. The Chargers now have a brilliant opportunity to put this game away. Here's Williams to the left, Garrison to the right, flanks right, Charlie Smith out to the left as a wingback, leaves only one back to block, that's Hubbard. LaMonica back, gets fine blocking, now he throws down the middle, Branch at the 20. Branch at the 18, tripped up, keeps going, reverses to the 15, he's at the 10, he dances down to the 9-yard line. First and goal to go Raiders. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and hang on to your hats. Branch is still in. He goes to the right, slotted inside Biletnikoff. 5 defensive backs in there. LaMonica gives to Smith, sending him to the left. He's got Upshaw in front. He's at the 5. He's at the 2. It's a touchdown Raiders! Charlie Smith from 9.5 yards out. Oakland has gone in front. Clarence Davis is in for Charlie Smith. He's a deep threat on pass reception. Back goes Stabler to pass, steps away from the rush. He's going to run up the left side. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Oakland Raiders! I'm sorry I've lost my voice. Kenny Stabler goes all the way, 30 yards.